The biggest struggle in my life is my relationship with self-discipline. This is the thing that probably brought the most pain, the most self-hatred, and the struggle that kept me depressed for over 2 years. And I vividly remember last year, Christmas Eve, it was 1 a.m. and I was crying. My mom comes downstairs and she's like, what's wrong? And I was just so ashamed to tell her that at this rock bottom of my life, I hated the fact that so many days, I couldn't even get myself to do more than 30 minutes of work. My routine would be waking up at 1 in the afternoon, spending 2 hours just sat there sad, depressed, scrolling online. 2 hours later, I go to the gym and I come home and then I have like a 3-hour work block planned. So I open up YouTube to find the perfect song, the perfect deep work music to listen to for the exact alpha waves, but instead I see a 5-minute long YouTube video. And I think to myself, you know what? I got home early, I can spare 5 minutes. And then on the right side of the YouTube screen, I get the recommended 30-minute how to be more disciplined, productivity, optimizing your life full guide. And I think to myself, you know what, I've already been so late on everything else today. Even if I only have 2 hours to do this 3-hour task, I can do 5, 6, 7 hours of deep work in this 2 hours block. Before I know it, it's 1 a.m. in the morning and I haven't done shit. And this will repeat over and over and over for so long in my life. And to be completely honest, even when I started self-improvement, even when I started this channel, this has been my biggest struggle. And finally, after so long, I was able to come up with a realization and a different way of looking at discipline that has helped me so much, that not only have I been able to stay on task, but it's allowed me to cut out all excess work that is wasting so much time, but it's also, most importantly, been able to make me just so much more proud of myself. Everybody always says, motivation is fleeting, discipline is forever. But what if I told you? Nobody wants to say this because it sounds so much more catchy. It sounds so much more powerful and masculine to hear that it's all about discipline and you have to do things that you absolutely hate to gain this discipline. Now, of course, you have to learn to be disciplined, but what if I told you that it was actually motivation that is way more important than discipline? So to answer this question, you have to ask yourself, what is discipline? And the definition of self-discipline is the ability to push yourself toward, stay motivated, and take action regardless of how you feel physically and mentally. That sounds fantastic. If I can just unlock this discipline, then it doesn't matter what happens to me in my outside life. It doesn't matter how much things start sucking in my life. I will be able to work every single day on these goals, regardless of how I feel. That'll get me closer to the success that I've always wanted, to the women that I've always wanted, to the life that I've always pictured. But if that were the case, then why have we watched hundreds of these self-improvement discipline videos teaching us all these ways of these deep work blocks, shutting off our phones, putting ad blockers, all these ways to cut out distractions and how to exactly stay disciplined, but we always fall back to getting distracted, to going toward these comfort coping mechanisms like scrolling online, porn, spending too much time in comfort. Are we just that undisciplined of people? Maybe. Or could it be that actually what we lack is motivation? Because what is motivation? Motivation comes from the word motive, and motive means your, and the key word is your deepest desires, your deepest wants, which is the closest descriptor and the best analogy for your authentic purpose. And your purpose is the thing that you are gonna stick to no matter what, because true purpose comes so deep from within that whatever childhood trauma or life experience led up to it, is your purpose is the thing that brings you the true feeling of fulfillment. So maybe the reason that we are undisciplined is because the thing that we are trying to get disciplined at isn't something that gives us motivation. So in this video, I'm gonna try to compartmentalize all these things into some actionable steps, because I know this isn't good to say for the metrics of my channel, but genuinely, I want you to finish this video and not have to give me more views by going to more of my videos and spiking your dopamine and sitting there feeling depressed. I want you to take these actionable steps from this video, close off this video, close off YouTube, and go apply them in your life. So I want to teach you how to not only find out what the thing that gives you and gains motivation is, but grow that motivation, and most importantly, garner the belief in yourself of the thing that you want to become more disciplined at, so it gives you more motivation. So technically, you don't have to have so much willpower and discipline because you just love doing it. For example, for myself, working out has been the one thing since I was 11 years old that no matter how undisciplined I'm feeling or unmotivated, as somebody would say, I will always go do it. And I have such a love for it. And that love for it, that deep purpose that I feel for fitness and working out, becomes motivating. There has to be this reason why for the past 10 years, I've almost never missed a single session. I've just kept doing it over and over and over. Working out, you're technically doing damage to yourself. You're breaking down the muscle so it can rebuild stronger. But for most of us, the reason that we've done it for 1, 2, 10 years is because to us, is something that is so deep in our purpose and we love it, and it continuously fuels and gives us motivation that we don't have to be so disciplined at. Which on the other side, there has to be a reason why when we come into like deep work sessions or working on our entrepreneurship, on this side hustle, this business that we want to create, there has to be a reason why it takes so much willpower and raw discipline to put the phone away and just sit at our computer for these 90-minute work blocks and get it done. So whether it is the gym or working on being an entrepreneur, think back to your life of the things that have brought you so much motivation because you truly just love it, that it's been pretty damn easy to just continuously do even on the hard days, versus the things that you procrastinate at, that school paper that you don't start doing until an hour before it's due. So the first step is you have to think of these things and decide if the thing that you want to get disciplined at right now is part of your purpose. It all comes down to if you do not have a clear sense of what your purpose currently is. For example, when I was trying to bench press 4 plates, it was the only thing I cared about in my life, and I dedicated everything in my life toward it. It didn't require any discipline for me to get up in the morning and eat 2,000 calories because it was a sense of purpose. It was a love. And if you don't know what that is right now, the best practice that I always preach is to open up a journal, take a pen, turn off every single distraction, and just write, what is my purpose? Or for you, if you already feel like you know what you want to be disciplined at, right at the top, the prompt being, is this discipline part of my purpose? If you take away every distraction in your life and you just write, you're gonna get deeper and deeper into your most subconscious, like raw thoughts. Because your purpose is your purpose. You are the only one that can determine what it is. So all distractions off, lock yourself in a dark room, set a timer 1, 2, 3 hours, and I guarantee this practice can save possibly years off your life. Once you figured out that whatever you were trying to get more disciplined at is part of your true purpose and is something that you actually love. For me, for example, it's creating the self-improvement channel. It's out of my whole life of trying out different videos and trying to figure out what I love. And this is another way that you can determine what your purpose is. But I noticed that almost 100% of the conversations I have, I always subconsciously try to sway the conversation to some sort of mental health, self-improvement, life philosophy topic. Like it starts off with nice to meet you and ends off with like, so what is your biggest childhood trauma? Why do you act like this? And we can go deep into why this is something that I care so much about, but the fact that I subconsciously align so much of my life towards something like this, and there's probably something in your life that you subconsciously align yourself so much toward, you just have to turn off the distractions and just notice it. That's how you know that that's the thing that is the most toward your purpose right now in your life. So the next step is the setup, and there's 2 different ways that you have to set up simultaneously. One is the fun shit. So for working out, it's always going to be more fun to hit the body parts that you want to hit. So for me, I'm always going to enjoy going in and bench pressing and doing chest more than I enjoy doing legs. However, because working out is just something that I have such a deep love for, it doesn't matter if it's legs or cardio, I'm still gonna go in and do it. But setting up more of the fun things, more of the exercises that you like, if it's deep work, setting out more of the tasks that you enjoy is imperative to actually sitting down and doing it. The next thing is you have to have the more harsh side of the setup, which is, for example, the morning routine. And I posted a whole video about morning routine and what I think is one of the best morning routines that you can do if you don't have a current morning routine. But setting up for whatever that thing is that you're trying to get more discipline at, for me, it's deep work. For example, let me show you. I spend too much of the monthly budget to this desk setup. Having this here, like, check this out. This is literally, this shit juices me up to work, man. Standing desk, bitch. Okay, we're gonna stand for the rest of this video. I just motivated myself to fucking stand. Getting yourself a better work environment, having your water just ready to go, like an athlete who loves the sport that they compete at and having all the trainers around them. But setting up all that stuff the night before, the morning of, having no distractions in the morning, turning off your phone so your brain doesn't fixate on all this bullshit that's happening on social media and you can look forward to the work that you're about to go do. Turning off those distractions are imperative to not only the disciplines that you hate, but the disciplines that you love, and making a better workout session, making a better deep work session. So the next thing is planning out your day-to-day life. So we're gonna take a trip back to high school when they gave you those planners, when the teachers made you write what homework you had and all that shit. And one of the biggest tips that I give everybody is to start up a personal Google Calendar. You might have used this in school or for your work, but this is the one thing that has saved so much time in my life, but has allowed me to see how much time I actually have. Before I started tracking everything on my Google Calendar online, I felt like my entire life was wake up, work, and go to sleep, and I just hated it. And that led to burnout, to those days where I only did 30 minutes of work because my brain just could not take doing so much. I started tracking everything in to the T, and I realized how much time I actually have. The best way to set out your personal calendar is, number one, schedule in the mandatories. So schedule in your sleep, schedule in your work blocks, but schedule in everything for longer than it usually takes. I'm gonna use working out as the example. Let's say working out is the discipline that you want to get better at. Let's say it usually takes you an hour and a half to do the workout. Schedule it in for 2 hours, even 3 hours, and schedule in everything in your life for way longer than it takes. Because if you're new to trying to gain discipline, you have to treat it like you're a beginner. And I always say this, but you're never gonna tell a beginner who gets into the gym to go try to bench 2 plates, 3 plates, 4 plates on his first day. You have to start it out as a beginner and build that skill. So schedule out everything for longer than it takes, so then you can beat those times. And instead of doing that 3-hour workout that you have scheduled in, you get your whole workout done in an hour and a half. Now you have an hour and a half to get home, shower, whatever the fuck it is, but you have an hour and a half of time that you didn't even think was possible before. And this slowly, when you do this with everything in your life, like knowing that you typically sleep for 7 hours, but scheduling in for 9, 10, just having that block there. One, I guarantee even if you schedule everything longer, you're still gonna have so much more free time than you thought. But also, when you're able to give yourself a longer and more flexible deadline to do something and you still get it done, you're gonna be so proud of yourself that you got this task done within and probably a lot below the allotted time. So do this, and then slowly you can reduce those times, and you'll even free up even more free time in the future that you can put in extra shit. The next step you can take, and this is gonna sound so gay to so many people, affirmations. So when I first heard of people talking about affirmations, I thought that was like, what are you talking about? Like, this is some 2016 white chick pseudoscience shit. Until I learned that scientifically, the more your brain fixates on something, the more you believe in it. So whatever the discipline is that you're trying to get better at, the more you say it to yourself, the more you believe in it, the more it's gonna keep reinforcing in your brain that you can do it. If you keep telling yourself, I can go work out every single day for the rest of my life, or at least I can go work out 4 times a week, and you keep saying this to yourself every single day, the more and more you say it, the more it's gonna be pushed to the top thoughts in your brain. And the more something is at the top of the thoughts in your brain, the more you're gonna constantly think about it. It's just gonna be this positive reinforcement cycle. And a literal way to do this is, instead of being some fucking, like, looking like some freak staring in the mirror telling yourself that you can go work out, writing it down 5 to 10 times every single morning, and just taking that slow habit of connecting your hand to the pen, to the paper, back to your eyes. That's one of the best ways to reinforce it into your mind. This is the most important thing to do if you're trying to not only gain belief on something, but stay believing in something. And that is having the circle around you be made up of people that also believe in you. So you always hear that you are the sum of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. This is extremely true. There's been so many times in my life where I believed in these big goals and these dreams, and I kept chasing them, and they started working. And just because the close friend, the brother that I thought I had in my life didn't believe in it, and he would shit on me either to my face or behind my back, especially when it's somebody close in your life that you really care about, it doesn't matter how strong your mental willpower, how much you believe in something, it will negatively affect you. And if this thing that you're trying to get better at is something that you definitely believe, but it's not the strongest belief in your life right now, that can be fucking crushing. It can be destructive to hear from somebody that is so close to you, a parent, a close friend, a brother, a sister, that they don't believe in what you're doing. I mean, women not believing in their man, and most times being the guy's fault for not showing that they're capable, is usually the reason that they leave. And we get these high divorce rates. And these high divorce rates lead to the highest suicide rates in men nowadays. So you have to not only find people that believe in you, that share similar beliefs, but as hard as it is you might have to cut the people out of your life that don't. Because if you truly want to reach dream version of yourself that you want to become, I don't know what it is for you, whether it's going to the gym, getting better at deep work. It starts with this discipline, this small little discipline, and absolutely believing in it, believing that you can, and getting the motivation from that. Which brings me to the final step, is making sure that whatever this is having one small goal. That if it is you wanting to start a fitness journey, or you wanting to start being an entrepreneur, or just getting better at deep work, having one small obtainable goal. So for example, if it's fitness, just telling yourself, if you've never worked out before, that you can work out once a week. Having a goal so small that is obtainable, you know is possible, that is believable, but it should be so small that it kind of scares you that it's so small that you might not even get any benefit out of it. Setting something small like that and sticking to it and not going beyond it for the first week, and then you can up it to 2, up it to 3, 4 as the weeks go on. That is the best way to build progressive overload. If you go back to the beginning of this video, I noticed that all the problems that I had with discipline have stemmed from fucking up and then trying to overcompensate. So start small, start right now, and start on something that you believe in, that you love, and I guarantee if it is truly part of your purpose, it will give you the motivation to keep going. And trust me, every single person, every single one of you watching has the ability to find this purpose. I love you guys. Discipline is fleeting, motivation's not forever, but you can build it and you can make it strong as fuck. Peace.